numbers all together and I got $22,490. So that is only $30 difference for my budget. So $30, I mean, that's easy to spend in a month if you buy a couple of Starbucks or run through McDonald's drive-through. So that's probably a buffer that I can take. And so that equals $24.90. And that's because of rounding errors because of this. But I mean, this is really close and that's what you want it to be. So for the projected monthly budget, this is the guidelines that are given over here, and you go by these to help you fill this out. So my first one is rent. And like I said, I have to write my number amount up here, $25.20. And my rent, the guideline is that 25% of your income should go towards your rent. And to keep this project basic, we're just going to look at apartments. We're not going to look at houses. So we have to find 25%. So that's 0.25 times this amount. And that's 630. So 25%, and I did 0.25 to multiply it, and so that is 630. So I'm going to look for an apartment around $630. It may be a little bit below, it may be a little bit above.
Can I get the homework from Friday?
Okay, transportation. It says 8% to 10%. So I'm going to do about 8% instead of keep putting in numbers into the calculator, but I will tell you this one. 8% is 0.08. That's 8%. And times 25.20 equals, so $201.60. So I'm going to round that to 202. So I'm going to put 202. And that is 8%, okay? And so I can spend, my monthly payment for a car can be about $202. And then food, what I have to do is look at my qualification card and count up how much food I have to buy for my family. Well, I'm married, so that's $100 per week. I have one child, that's $20 per week. And I can't remember how many pets I have. I have 2 pets. So that is a total of 100 plus 20 plus 10 per week. So it's 130 per week. And then I go to my calculator, 130 per week times 4 weeks. And that's $520. And to find out what percentage that is of my monthly budget, I take that amount and divide by my monthly budget, 2520. And I get, it looks like I get 21%. Okay, and then it says clothing, and it says roughly 10 to 15%. So I'm going to say 10%, and 10% is $252. And then furniture, my card says I own furniture, so I don't have to rent furniture, so I'm not going to have a monthly cost to rent furniture. If you need furniture, you have to rent it for $150 a month. Phone, I'm going to have 2 phones because me and my spouse are both going to have a phone. That's $50 a phone. And so that's 100. And so I say 100 divided by 2520 equals 4%. See, it's 2 places over, 3.9%, which would round to 4%. 4%. And then car insurance, there's a male and a female in my family, so my car insurance would be $215. And to find out the percent that is, I would go 215 divided by 2520 equals, and that rounds to 9%. And then gas would be, it says $105 per month. So 105, and that's going to be about what the phone is, so that's 4%. And so you have this part of the page filled out. I have to go to the rest of the page. And medical and dental, it's married plus children is $215. So that's $215, and 215 divided by 2520 equals 9%. And then I have to do, I can't decide on gym and beauty and cable and other things from my qualifications card. Well, if there's anything else on your qualifications card, you need to put it here if it doesn't fit in another category. I need to find out what percent I can spend on this by finding all the other percents. So I'm going to wait on that. It says loans and credit cards, 5%. So I have to find that first. So I take 2520 times 0.05 equals 126. Okay, and then I've got savings, charity, recreation, all of those things I have to find out what percentages I can afford to go in there. To do that, I have to take 100%, which that's all that I have, and subtract out the percentages that I have. I'm going to do that, then come back. Okay, so all of this so far adds up to 95%. So I don't have a lot left to cover other savings, church or charity, and recreation. And so I'm going to say that 2% of my 5 is going to go here, and 1%, and 1%, and 1%. That's 5%. So I need to find out what those are. So this is $25, $25, $25, and $50. And then I'm going to add all these up, and it should come to close, because we rounded, to $25.20. So I added up all these numbers all together, and I got $22,490. So that is only $30 difference for my budget. So $30, I mean, that's easy to spend in a month if you buy a couple of Starbucks or run through McDonald's drive-through. So that's probably a buffer that I can take. And so that equals $24.90. And that's because of rounding errors because of this. But I mean, this is really close, and that's what you want it to be.